Hello, everybody. You are tuned into the Wizard of Pod. I'm your host, Colum, Tyrrell. Thank you very much for all of the love and support. The Patreon is crushing it. If you're not on the Patreon, consider heading over there. The way we do the episodes are that the first hour is free every Friday, and then we'll do an extra bonus half an hour exclusive for the Patreon. So if you're watching this or listening to this episode with Big Jay Oakerson and you want to experience another 30 minutes or so, head over to patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell. TW, is that how you guys say websites, or do you just say slash?
I just say slash, but I've heard people say
You've heard
slash,
people? It's more like a European thing, because that's all we say. But I've heard someone else just say slash, and I'm like, have I been saying it like a fool this whole time?
Well, I've never heard anyone say backslash, so I feel like if just slash, it's good enough. But I don't know.
Well, maybe I'll try. Let me try it out right now. www.patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell. I missed the / now. I just miss it. I think I've said it so many times. Anyway, head over there. We're crushing it. Things are growing. Colum's gonna buy himself a Rolex now. If I saved up for 200 months, if I saved up for 200 months, I'll get myself a nice low end Rolex that turns out to be a Fugazi after all that. So if you're listening, head over to the YouTube channel. We're racing towards 10,000 subscribers. If you're watching right now, hit subscribe. It costs you nothing. And it helps us a lot, because then it will end up in your feed. And someday when I release my stand-up comedy special, you'll be able to see it. It really helps. Maybe I'll get a TV deal. Maybe my wife won't cheat on me with a gardener who happens to be white for some reason. Because if your wife is cheating on you with the gardener, it's very much like Desperate Housewives. Remember that show? Mm-hmm. The sexy boy was fucking Eva Longoria. Do you remember that show?
No.
I saw. Do you remember that show? He goes, mm-hmm.
Well, you've Desperate Housewives. I thought that was a reality show.
That's no, that's the Real Housewives of Fucky Fuck.
That's what I was thinking.
So those the fake tit bitches. That's the Bravo thing. So, but the Desperate Housewives was a very scandalous show in the 2000s, I believe, and about 4 whores who had husbands, and one of them was Eva Longoria, and she was like the hottest thing. In like 2003, she was like the hottest fucking little Mexican girl. And the character ended up cheating on her husband with the pool boy or gardener or something, but he's just this like shredded Adonis. He was just this rocking, he had a six pack, he was like the high school quarterback or something like that, and she got fucking rallied anyway. It was like one of these like Sex and the City shows where it was like slutty and it was a lot of the last couple of pumps of sex. Mm-hmm. That's what they would cut to someone, and it would just be, and then the two of them would be lying in bed, and you'd be like, that's enough for 12-year-old Colum to absolutely rip it off. I was ripping it to Eva Longoria. She died.
Did she?
No, I don't know. She might. She's not around. She was like the popular one. Let me see. Do you want to look that up? Eva Longoria.
No, she's still alive.
What's she doing? She's not acting.
No, she's got an Instagram.
She looks
director, activist.
How old is she now?
She's 46. So basically dead.
Over. Anyway, that was one of those things. So I digress. I'm just saying my girlfriend will cheat on me, but only if I get it. She's not going to cheat on you with a Mexican gardener. I just don't think that's ever happened. No Desperate Housewife is fucking like Raul and Manuel, I just don't think Manuel's gonna come over and fuck your wife. Like he's just a little pot-bellied fucking immigrant, dude. One of those little fat Mexicans. Yeah. He has a shirt on, but you can still see his belly button, and he's just like, oh hey, no, you here? And he has like a weird cap that doesn't seem to be doing anything at all. It's sort of just placed on his head. It's not like it's more like just a handkerchief than anything else. Mm-hmm. So all I'm saying is keep your gardeners Hispanic, and you won't have to worry about your wife cheating on you. Now, her Zumba class or her Pilates coach, he's on a rattler. Big black guy, he's rattling your wife. If your wife is at the gym, she's cheating on you. Just so you know. Just so everyone knows. If your wife is at the gym, she's cheating on you or planning on leaving you. That's, especially if she's going to the gym and not losing weight. What's going on there? Something's going on.
Suspicious.
Be very suspicious of these women. Men like to think that women don't cheat, when in fact it's just we're so stupid and we don't care about them enough to even notice. She comes back, she has hickeys on her neck. You're like, what happened there? She was like, oh, I slipped in the shower. And you're like, all right, well, whatever. Where's my dinner? Stop getting, why? She's like, why do you have herpes? She's like, I was cleaning the sink and some of the bleach squirting on my face and now I have herpes. And you're like, all right. Whatever, you're not cheating on me. There's no way you're cheating on me. Men are just so stupid. You could catch a guy in your bed and she'd be like, oh, this is just Manuel. He's here to fix the bed. And you're like, all right. Okay, baby. All right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. So head over. We're trying to get 10,000 subscribers. That's the goal. We're at 7 right now. We're trying to get 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you're watching, smash that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Fuck the algorithm. We hate the algorithm here. We are it's our sworn enemy. We hate the algorithm. I want to start some sort of like a boys club where we fucking just talk about the algorithm and we hate the algorithm and we don't like the way the algorithm has been spreading their beliefs on our children. All right, they were coming in. The rumor has it there's an algorithm teacher. The local school just hired an algorithm teacher, and it's teaching us kids. I don't want my kids learning about the algorithm. All right, I'm not fucking pulling my kid out of class. I don't take kindly for those algorithm folk around here. 2 algorithms just shouldn't be married. All right, get the fuck out of my neighborhood. It's in the Bible. Thou shalt not algorithm. So if you leave a comment, it helps with the YouTube channel. So it's going to be a big episode. Big Jay Oakerson we had in the studio today. A lot of fun. A lot of a nice little casual interview. Me and Big Jay, we do a lot of radio together, I guess. Obviously on Legion of Skanks. If you don't know Legion of Skanks, go check it out. It's probably the most fun podcast I do. But today was a little bit different. We slowed it down. It's early morning here in New York City. And we sort of just talked about comedy. Although it's funny how with comedians you try not to talk about it, but then it's our whole life. So then we just sort of slowly get back into those same like, so do you write your material or do you riff it on stage? Tell us, how did you get into comedy? Who was the first comedian you ever saw? Have you ever bombed? These are all the questions that people are always asking. Have you ever bombed? What's it like when you bomb? You go, it's like every other show I've done. It's typical. I had a fucking show the other night, man, and it went fucking rough as fuck. But I think I walked out of there a hero.
What happened?
By the way, first of all, can we also say, speaking of bad shows, remember I talked about, was either on the Patreon or something, I talked about the Jewish lady asking me to leave the stage despite being in an outdoor show with no stage and me going, I can't leave, there's no host. So I'm just gonna have to stand here chucking and jiving. So that was on the Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell for that. But apparently one of the waitresses was telling me, because there was this big thing that happened. I was booed off stage more or less. At one point she was like, you should leave, you're not funny or whatever. And I said, you're the only person who finds me not funny, everyone else loves me. I go, make some noise if you want me to stay on stage. And it was crickets. It was silence. It was the most embarrassing moment of my whole life. When you see a guy like this, all right, okay. And then I was just like, well, I'm not fucking leaving anyway, so like get used to it. But apparently the waitresses told me that I was like, so I had to leave pretty soon because we had the Zoom show. By the way, every month we hang out over Zoom if you're a member of the Patreon on the Pappy Van Winkle crew. So we were watching the UFC on the Zoom hang. So that's why I had to get out of it. But she told me that a lot of the clients, a lot of the tables that were watching were like, oh, tell that guy he was really funny, and that your one was just being a cunt.
Oh, nice.
That's what she told the.
So you did have the crowd.
Pussies. Pussy. I don't need you now behind closed doors. When I was standing up there, like Jordan Belfort, going, I'm not fucking going anywhere, and you all went. And you put your head like in your shoulder, scared. Fuck you, you German fuck. I remember exactly. She told me, I was like, "Oh, that table said you're great, and that table said you're great." Like, but they gave me nothing. When I needed them, they gave me fucking nothing. That'd be like me seeing a fucking some dude fucking punch my sister in the face, and then I just walk away and send her a text later on saying, all good? You know what I mean? Fuck you. You do it in the moment or you don't do it at all. Anyway, so I had a rough run at the stand again the other night. Jesus. It's not always that bad. Uh-huh. I think it's because I'm getting too old. So I'm just looking angrier and angrier as I'm getting older. Because I used to be the fun, jolly, hey, you know, I even thought I was like a cute Irish guy. Especially back in Ireland, back in the day, I was just a cute guy talking about boobies and shit. And now it's like, I think I'm being charming, but there's too much hate in my eyes. My eyelids are just like, that's just too much, so much cheap cocaine. You can just tell my eyelids are just 90% cheap cocaine at this point. So I did a show the other night, and I had to follow a comedian. Well, I wasn't following her in particularly, but it was, I don't know if you're Ashley Hesseltine from the Girls Gotta Eat podcast. She does comedy, and she's a big draw because a lot of women love talking about anal and wine. Okay, so she has a huge following. I'd love to do the podcast. It'd be great. But so they sell out theaters all over the fucking country. No one sells more tickets than a bunch of chicks, because what happens is you have 100 chicks want to see you. They all bring their friends. They go, oh, girls' night. It's a girls' night. There's no such thing as a boys' night. My thing is just incels. I think we talked about this previously, did we? It was just like, mine are just single school shooter fucking weirdos who come to my stuff. Whereas if I was talking about stretch marks and puppies, it'd be fucking packed full of chicks. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so whenever she does a show, she brings out all these fans. So half the room is broads, and they're all drinking Chardonnay, and they're yapping, and then someone goes, hey, have you ever been on Hinge? And they'll go, woo, Hinge. Whatever dribble these bird brains fucking, they slurp it up anyway. So I'm out there, I'm doing real shit. I'm talking about being Irish. Real stuff, real comedy. But they don't take kindly to it anyway. And I'm like bitching about my girlfriend or whatever. And you can feel them. They're all like, oh, you're being mean. Why is he being mean to his girl? We can't take any responsibility for our actions. And it's not going well. It's tough. They just don't like me immediately. They don't like me. I don't like them. And the booker, the stand is there because it's a night that they audition new acts. So it's kind of, even though I'm in there, I would never probably feel confident in any club to be. You're not in anywhere unless you're just like a super draw like Andrew Schultz. But even then, he's probably like, just at any moment they can like fuck off. So you still have a little bit of pressure to do well, and it's not going well. So then I do like a dirty joke. And they kind of are all like kind of horrified by it. And then I said, and I wouldn't even mind. I knew they were fucking pussies. I knew they were a bunch of chicks. I knew they wanted to talk about handbags and why won't he go down on you on your period? It's just a little bit of blood, girls. Yay! That's what they talk on these podcasts. If your man doesn't go down on you on your period, you need to get rid of him, honey. Yes, queen, lady boss. We're all lady bosses here. Mm-hmm. Female CEO, baby. And they're all dumb idiots. So I was nice. I started off with like nice fucking horseshit. I kind of just like, hey, you know, and then they and even that they were just like, no. And that's when I was just like, well, there's no saving you guys. You're children. Because the thing is, they're fans of the podcast and they're fans of that. So, and when they're not there for you, it's tough. But at least if Roy Woods Jr., when he does like a drop in and he'll sell the place out, at least his fans are comedy fans. They're here for the comedy. Whereas when someone else, I imagine it's the same with Blake Griffin. If Blake Griffin drops in and does a comedy set, it's going to be packed. But they're basketball fans, so they don't know what the fuck they're laughing at or how to laugh or what comedy is. Anyway, I'm not wrong. It sounds like a lot of whining, but I'm not wrong. It sounds like a lot of excuses. And if I was on the other end of this conversation, I would say, excuses. Anyway, allow me to fucking ignore my flaws. Will you? Fuck's sake, if I can't do this on my own podcast. You've also just right there witnessed the internal dialogue of a madman who's just like, there's no one that's interjecting, and I'm like, I'm having a fight with my own self live on a podcast. So I do a dirty fucking joke, and the kind of goes, oh, sort of a thing. And then I did another bit. I don't know. I can't remember what that bit was, but I lost them again. And I just went, all right, fuck you. And then I just brought out the darkest, dirtiest shit I got on. Bang, bang. And by the end of it, they were actually kind of laughing. Mm-hmm. But I went, I was like a lot. I was like trying to upset them. I was like, fuck you. And I'm talking about licking this fat girl's cunt. And I'm like, fucking talking about the fat girl's cunt and this. And when she came, it was like, whatever. I don't want to give the whole bit away. But it went well. It was funny enough. The booker howling. He was howling. And there was a lot of just, in like, they were like, oh, why isn't he talking about how we got to save the bees? Why isn't he talking about Gabby Petito? Why is he talking about this? You know, why is he being funny? Mm-hmm. So, it kind of, I doubled down, and I probably shouldn't have, because I was just like, that's how I do it. When my back's to the wall, I'm swinging. I'm not crumbling, dude. And it's a bad sign, because I've been in situations like that before when Lewis started like poking me on the Real Ass podcast, and so I started trashing that guy's club in Point Pleasant. That was just me being in a bad situation. He had very little to do with that, but I was like, my back was to the wall, so I had to come out and be like, yo, fuck this guy. And Lewis knew what he was doing, but it was the same with this crowd. I was just bombing, and so then I doubled down, and I worked all right. But the booker actually messaged me the next day going, that was a great set last night. I was like, all right. Nice. Well, I think he recognizes genius. You know, I think he just understands genius.
Knows it when he sees it.
First of all, silly voices. I can't do them, but I've just got one the whole time. So that's my workaround. I'm like, not like Big J, who's great, Dan Soder, who's great. I'm not like out there doing like a fucking impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. I'm just my whole voice the whole time. So, there's that. There's a man. I'm a man. That's a huge element of greatness. You're halfway there if you're a dude. And then the rest is I'm bombing and I'm calling the crowd cunts. So that's huge. So I don't know why I brought that up, but I just thought I'd say, talking about bombing. I've got my crowd work album tonight. I'll let you guys know how it goes tomorrow on the Patreon, I guess. Fingers crossed it goes well. TW, I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit nervous. I've never done like an entire set of crowd work, as in like a long 45 minutes.
Is it 45 you're doing?
Yeah. Well, it could end up being 20. We'll see.
No, man, you got it. Sure.
I know. I don't know. Yeah, but I think that's probably the beauty of the whole thing, is like, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like Big J said, you're naturally funny, man. I mean, you'll be fine.
Okay, we'll see about that. We'll see. I'm sure. If worst case scenario, I'll just fucking go do a set. Like, I'll just like, if I'm 15 minutes in and it's really not going well, I'm just like, all right, let's all just. I'm just going to do stand up now.
Back to material.
Back to material. Back to the old fashioned. Hey, any fat bitches in? Look at this fat bitch up the front. I love the idea of roasting the front row too, because like a lot of people do that. They'll walk in and go, look at this guy's shirt, whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. I'd love the idea of like roasting them, but it's not even in any way clever. You go, look at this ugly bitch. Huh? This guy's an ugly cunt too. And then look at you fat fucking ugly fuck. Just calling them all ugly.
Just pure aggressive.
Look at the state of your teeth. Look at the fucking state of your teeth. What do you do? Are you guys in a relationship? You're fucking that? Dude. Gross. That'd be great. So hopefully that'll be fun tonight. It's sold out last week. So at least I'm not worried about people showing up, which is often an issue with a lot of these things. I saw in the news today, I don't know if you saw this, is that the Zodiac Killer was potentially found. Is that interesting?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see it? See, you got to be on social media 24 hours a day, dude. You got to get on it, TW. I'm bringing you news that dropped an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago.
Yeah, investigators say they finally identified the Zodiac Killer, a cold case team.
This is just investigators. This isn't official.
This isn't official, yeah. It's just...
But we're getting there.
A team of cold case investigators say they have finally identified the Zodiac Killer, one of America's most prolific serial murderers who terrorized San Francisco in the late 60s.
Interesting. Oh, I thought you had more to say there.
I'm still reading.
You're skimming through it?
Yeah, skimming through
I never knew much about the Zodiac Killer. Did you? Like, people have gone into him. They
I
love
watched that movie that had like
What's it
Robert
called?
Downey Jr.
What's it called?
Zodiac.
Zodiac. Yeah. That movie.
That movie.
Great. I'm glad, TW. I'm glad we all got to just hear how fucking retarded you are, dude. What's that movie about the Zodiac Killer?
Yeah, I got there.
Did you?
Eventually.
I guess. I
feel
like you saw the anger in my eyes. How embarrassed I was for you in that opportunity. Well, hey, look, hard luck, dude. Hard luck, dude. You're caught. You thought you got away with it, but you're caught. Now you're going to jail.
Says they'd identified him as Gary Francis Post, who passed away in 2018.
Got away with it, bro. There
won.
you go. Guys, shoot for the stars. You'll land on the moon. Is that what the expression is? Go for it. Let it be known. Shoot their shot. Okay? That's a message here. If you want to go out and murder a bunch of random girls, go for it. You might get away with it. You could be that guy. What was his name?
Gary Francis Post.
Gary Francis Post. Legend. Legend. Listen, I don't agree with what he did, but there's a couple of people that walk off like a home run, bases loaded. They just do it, and it's just hell yeah, a walk off home run. They just crush it, and there's something about these guys that just when they do all the crimes, and then they just got their whole life without ever getting caught. It's just like, you motherfucker, because getting caught is the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you don't get caught, it's like, did they even do it? Was there even a victim? He didn't get caught. It's almost like, because in his own head, he never had to face the reckoning of committing a crime. Mm-hmm. What was the guy's name? The biggest pedo in England, Sir.
The one that had like the TV show.
Yeah, Jimmy
Savile.
Jimmy Savile. Yeah, Jimmy Savile was one of these creeps. The ultimate creep, and it was the biggest cover up. And he used to just hang out. He would dress up like a clown almost, or a pimp, like from the 60s. He was dressed up almost like an offensive caricature of a black pimp. It would almost be, and that's the way he walked around. He had rings on every finger. He had a cane. He was a head to toe gold. He had a gold suit, and he would present kids' TV shows, and he would hang out at kids' hospitals, and he was banging the kids. He would just be like, yo, I'm just going to be alone with the cute one. I mean, Tom. I'm going to be alone with Tom for a few hours. Is that okay? And they're like, he's passed out. And they're like, Jimmy Savile, fuck off. And then he rattled them. And then I think rumor had he had like a couple of bones. He would spend time in a morgue, like the morgue. He would go to someone, hey, can I just have some alone time with the dead bodies? And the man be like, oh, Jimmy, fucking dying for a coffee break. I'll see you in an hour. All right, dude, do what you want in there, Jimmy. God. I know you're not going to be touching these dead kids. But also, by the way, dead kids, not as bad as alive kids. Gotta tell you. It might be controversial. It might be almost weirder. But it's like less of a crime. Uh-huh. Fatting, it's just trespassing, really, I guess. But I think you go down as a sex offender. But yeah, my dead body. Fuck away. They're practicing piano again.
Yeah, sounds like it.
That's just our way of telling us to get the fuck out of their building, which is fine. So, shout out to the guy who got away with the Zodiac thing. Shout out to Brian Laundrie. He's on the run. Apparently, they have some new insight that he got a flight 2 weeks ago or something like that. Which it seems like a crazy thing to have not been issued. I don't know if this was real, but this was a headline I saw that apparently he flew Spirit Airlines, possibly. Is that what I read? That Brian Laundrie's just been he's going through his own hell right now. He's on Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, apparently he flew back to Florida during the trip to empty out his storage unit.
Oh.
So
what was in the storage unit? A shovel and some fucking whatever that liquid is that kills your DNA. All right. Listen, we had a long talk with Big Jay Oakerson today. It was nice. It was relaxed. We talked about a lot of comedy, Patrice, where we see the scene going, how, and you can tell it's sad for these guys. And I get it too, because I started in Ireland where there was a bit more of a brotherhood amongst comedians. And when you would go on the road, or something, there's 4 comedians in a car together, it would be, you'd say the most awful stuff. Mm-hmm. And you would say it knowing I'm trying to be the most disgusting guy. So it was like funny. You'd all like edge each other on. It was just like the funniest times. Mm-hmm. And then somehow I got over here to New York, and it was just like times were changing. Like you'd say a joke on a mic, and they'd be like, you can't say, you can't use the word. There was a girl, you can't use the word pussy. She's like, you can't describe someone as being a pussy because then it has like negative connotations about a girl's fucking pussy. And it's like, what the fuck are we? You're like, well, what word can I describe you as then? Because you're being a cunt. Is that better? Is that more powerful for you, ladies? But I think it just became, there's just too many people, and it's kind of a tribalism, and you get your little cliques, and it's always like, fuck that tribe. But back in the day, there was a few people, but it was always funny, and comedy always came first to me. But you can almost see, I feel like people like Big Jay, there's almost like a sadness because the comedy was so great, for all of that type of thing, and then to have people try to come after you, comedians who are supposed to be this comedy community. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's all lies. No one's friends with anyone, and they're all out to stab each other in the back. So,
and on that message,
and on that note, but I had a lot of fun with Big J. Like I said, if you want to catch the rest, the whole episode, go over to patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell. Enjoy. It's a little bit bright for me. How are you?
It's fine.
Yeah, I think I've got like I've got like bright eyes. I've got bright-itis.
You're all dilated?
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I drive at night, I find it fucking hard. All the lights fucking killing me. One of these days I'm going to just go off the fucking road and take
from blinding lights.
Yeah, but my eyes aren't. I don't think my eyes are fucked up. Oh no, my eyes are fucked up. I got tested recently because I needed a special like truck driver's license, and they made me do like an eye exam.
It was bad?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but I was cheating too, which I shouldn't admit. But like, I was like this, and I was like, one of my eyes is like really bad. So then I had like my eye peeping through, and the girl was like, what is this? And I was like, every time she'd like turn around, I was like,
dude, get some glasses. I'm trying to get an eye test to see if I need glasses, just so you could put on. It's nice when everyone's coming down on you hard. You show up with the glasses one day, and for some reason it's disarming. Like, no, look, I'm a glasses guy.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I can't. How bad could I be?
Yeah, it's like the Paul Potts.
Lewis wears glasses like a dictator or like a cult leader. Those glasses aren't disarming, but a regular pair of glasses are disarming.
Yeah, his orange shades. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. His like exactly.
Hunter S.
Like
Thompson.
I'm on my way to teach at a gun range or something. I'm building my own AR-15 glasses.
Yeah, that's someone who knows how to make his own dynamite. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got 3 pregnant women chained up in a basement glasses.
Yeah, it depends on the look. Some people get the big fucking stupid ones though. Bobby's ones are fucking retarded.
They're crazy.
But his head is so big, it's almost like I think it's trying to.
It was like those Mr. Magoo's with the big like frames around them and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy looking.
It's wild that he chose.
I always say it looks like. Do you know Lainey? You know Lainey,
no.
Like the porn PR lady who brings.
Oh yeah, I know Lainey. Yeah,
SDR and stuff. She'll put it on sometimes. They all look like De Niro at the end of Casino. And we're just old. And he's like that crazy like licking his own gums face. Those are the glasses of an old. Bobby Kelly wears the glasses of an old bookie.
Yeah, it was a 1960s cartoon or something too. But if he was to have like just thin reading glasses, they'd almost.
That would look weird too. Yeah.
He's kind of just.
He looked like a miser. Is that what they called Scrooge? Miser, just like a heavy set guy with tiny glasses.
Nice. So this is us. We'll just roll in with that.
Hell yeah.
Welcome, Big J. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me, man.
Big fan. You're one of the funniest men in the world.
Oh.
So thank you for taking time out of your day.
Hilarious, so I appreciate that.
Taking time out of your busy day to come do this.
No, man. Thanks for having me.
You must just be nearly on mic all the time, right?
It's a lot, yeah. When I'm on the road now, it's funny when people like, what do you do when you're in St. Louis? Did you go see the Arch? Did you go do this? Or did you go?
Yeah.
How about these restaurants? I'm like, man, I sit in a hotel room, watch YouTube videos, and try not to talk for like 8 hours of being awake. Because it's a lot. It is a lot of talking, but it's fine. Well, it's almost like the dread of going to the things because the schedule's so tight. But doing them is always fun. That's the trickery of comedy. Eventually it does become where you're like, oh shit, it's my work. Yeah. So it's like, I kind of rather would just sit home today and relax and not do something else. But when you get to the thing, you're doing comedy. So he said, even on your worst, like dragging ass to get somewhere, you're like, you're happy.
There's nothing like cursing out, like a show that you're on your way to. You're like, what the fuck am I doing? And it's like the train's a little bit late, and you're like, what? I was watching people get hit by cars on YouTube, and then you get there, and it's one of the best.
Dan Soder never complains. I complain for him because he's not a hard to say no guy, like which I am also. But some of the things he takes are just like, it's wild.
Shows.
He's like, I got a bar show in Central Jersey right after the bonfire today. And I'm like, why did you take that? He's like, I told him yes like a month ago.
That's how you get
someone. He was a nice guy. You're like, damn it, dude. Yeah, for a long time away, they go, probably.
6 weeks? Yo, who the fuck? I could be a completely different. 6 weeks is like the perfect. If someone says 8 weeks, you're like, what? Get back to me then.
Almost party is going too. It's like, it gives me 6 weeks to think of an excuse why I can't do it in 6 weeks.
Yeah, you go probably.
Yeah, I could probably do that.
And then you end up hating the person who booked you, even though they're probably quite nice.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you make me do this?
Yeah, coming into a fuck. It's the same. They make you. Have you done a concept show ever? Where the person complains about the concept and the difficulty of it, like during the show? And you're like, well, don't do it. Dude, I've had people come, like when I used to do I used to host the Set List show here in New York.
Yeah.
But that's a show. It's like Paul Provenza's thing.
Paul Provenza, yeah.
The thing is just like they throw you, and I mean, as it went on, I don't even know if it still happens, but like
it died out, right?
I think just thinking about that. But it was like, well, it died out because they started making it like an insurmountable like hill to climb with the things they would give, the topics.
Yeah.
So for the people listening, it's they put something up on a screen, a phrase, a word, something, some nonsense thing, and you're supposed to weave it in like it's part of your comedy, like just like seamlessly do it, which I like doing that as an idea, but it should be up there like marriage, divorce, childhood, you know, it's like things, or even funerals, grocery store,
dirty sex,
something,
classic,
anything. It started getting to, what was it when I saw Mark Norman get one? The word was Shaquarium, like the beginning of Shaquille O'Neal's name, aquarium at the Shaquarium, and it's like, you're asking for a lot. It's like you got to give 3 minutes of setup, like to make that weave that into something to make it fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like a homework to go home. I'll see you tomorrow.
Shaquarium. Have fun with that. Okay, let me go try cocaine, I guess. Like and see if I can come up with something. But it got like pretty. It was rough. The things they were giving, but
nocturnal pineapple, and you're like.
But even when it was like, even when it was not so bad at all, like when like there was something that tough, when I'd see people go up there and if they were having a hard time with it, they go, fuck, man, what are we doing? It's like, comedy's not hard enough. Like now we got to come up here and make up some shit out of fucking, graveyard sex or something. I got to comedy's not hard. And you're just like, well then, dude, say no to the thing. I've had show ideas where they come to me and they go, and then you do this, and then you do this. Would you like? I go, it's just not for me. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to do it.
Well, what happened is they probably thought they were going to do well, right? And then halfway through, they were like,
right,
yo, fuck this shit.
Exactly. And they're like, this is dumb. Like, yeah, exactly. It's because you're trying to send the message almost like, I could do this if I gave a shit, but I got a lot of stuff going on. This means nothing to me.
I've been writing. Yeah. Exactly.
Why do I write so many jokes if I got to do this bullshit? I goes, you didn't have to.
Well, there's nothing like it. You've never been to the Edinburgh Fringe, have you?
No.
The Edinburgh Fringe is all like gimmicky shows. Well, there's every show under the sun, but there's thousands of stand-up showcases, dirty shows, whatever, clean shows. So people just start coming up with the wildest gimmicks ever. There's like comedy in the dark. There's a bunch of like set list shows like that. And then there's just like weird stuff where it's just like, at what point are we gonna just be like, you know, just accepting that it's stand-up, and they're like, it's stand-up, but we throw things at you, and you got to dodge them. Like,
I did comedy in the dark in this room.
Oh, really?
Before, I think Lewis was doing it for a minute. It was dumb,
horrible. I've never bombed, and it's almost worse bombing in the dark like that. It's almost worse because I'm like, hello. It was genuine, like, hello.
Yeah, everybody there? Anybody there?
I bombed so bad at one of those shows because you start off, you do the first like 30 seconds. No, not even. You start off, you walk in, and the second you say anything into the mic, the light would go off. So you don't see anything. You don't see anything. So then I was trying to like fuck with the audience, and I almost fell off the stage. I was like, oh, I almost fell. So I sat down and then just started doing my set, and it was just silence. And then the light came back on. I was like, all right, see ya.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Yeah, concept. Anyone who says they're going to a naked comedy show for any other than like, well, the sociological experiment of it. Like, can you get past the nudity? And I don't care about it. I went to. Besides the naked roast we do at Skankfest, which is awesome, and fun, I went to one naked show just to watch with Lewis years ago. I mean, 17 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
We went to Eric Andre was on. I remember that. Big Pig.
Nice.
Big
Good
Pig
stuff.
on Eric Andre.
Oh, You'd see me on all those shows if I had a piece.
Oh, me too.
I'd be setting them up.
Go.
I'd be running them. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Why not, everyone? It's a good advertisement for it.
Just doing a naked drop-in.
As much run this one naked if you don't mind. But I mean, everyone's going to those shows to see the new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a girl comic doing that, like, no, like, I'm coming with the excitement. If I'm going to see your pussy, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
nuts. Crazy. I'm going to see your pussy,
and you're talking about something that's irrelevant. I'm staring at your bush,
looking right at your bush.
Absolutely.
And it was so great. And I said when they walk out, it was so and so funny. Like, who cares?
Wait, who?
I came to see their bush, man. It's really So I say when they try to like, it's great because to even get people to do it, you have to like sell that thing of like, no, it's like a social experiment, you know. Like you can
after a minute,
you see how people.
No one even knows you're naked.
I don't. After a minute, I've almost stopped hearing your voice completely, and I'm just looking at you. And by the way, your pussy or your dick,
absolutely,
because it's same kind of intrigue I have. I'm not fucking either of them, so it's like I'm looking at the dicks also going like, damn, dude, so and so. And by the way, sometimes it was like, this guy's showing his dick and he's got nothing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, damn, look at the size of that guy's big old dick. Like, either one.
It's impressive all the way through.
The only funny, like, thing I remember from that set was, I think it was my first time seeing Eric Andre's comedy, maybe. So I was like, oh, Eric's funny. Like, he did make me laugh, actually, with acknowledging his dick. But he's like, you can see from his thing now, like, he doesn't give a fuck. Oh, so he made no weird, it was almost like the funny was that he was naked. You know what I mean? He kept making funny of that. Everybody else I don't remember other than the host had a tiny dick.
Wow.
I mean, really small. Fat guy with a really tiny dick. And then I remember this girl came out. She's cute, nervous, which was hot.
Absolutely.
Came out butt-ass naked, bush, the whole nine. Great tits. She was fantastic. But she pulled, she goes, guys, I brought some notes because I'm nervous as hell on this.
Oh.
And she had like a small piece of paper. And she just kept unfolding it until it like literally covered her whole, it was like a giant and just covered her whole body. And I was like, that's funny. That's a really funny way to handle that awkward situation. So that's all I remember though.
I've heard of someone, I don't know, in the New York one said, oh, let me check my notes. And then they pulled their notes out of their pussy. Like if
that was Naked Roast Battle. That was
it? It could have been done a few times.
Blanking on
I
her
feel
name.
like it's been done a few times.
Probably, maybe. But she was fucking, oh man, I'm blanking on her name completely. Allison.
Oh, yeah. Allison.
Damn it. I feel like
she's married now to another comic.
Is she really?
Yeah, I think so. At least she's engaged. She used to run the show, did she?
I think so, yeah. But she pulled her roast battle jokes out of her pussy. It was great.
Did they stink? Come on.
I don't know. I mean, the jokes? Nah, maybe. I was staring at she had a hell of a body, so I was definitely just ogling.
Yeah,
I'm so happy it's in a room full of people. If it was like, over Zoom, I'd be like, yeah. So who had the best roast jokes?
But, and at least if it's busy, you don't need to pretend as if you're like sort of. Do you have to do like pretend face, like you're like, oh, ha ha, and you have to laugh, kind of like, oh, I was listening.
You know how late to the game I am on if you wear. I'm just not a sunglasses guy usually.
Oh yeah.
And now this is like driving around. I don't know why. I've never been a sunglasses guy, but like my girlfriend almost brought to me like. You're always like squinting and stuff. Like, why don't you wear sunglasses? And I put them on, and I was like, oh yeah, this solves that whole problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also when I wear sunglasses to go outside and like smoke cigarette or something, you could stare right at titties and all kinds of shit. No one has any idea.
It's incredible.
It's really a fantastic thing.
I never wear sunglasses until I'm like on the beach, and then I'm suddenly staring. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, this shit.
Yeah, you gotta put on, and then no one knows what the fuck you're looking at.
Yeah, because I'm with my girl too, so I'm like looking this way, but I'm staring. You know, she has no idea, and I'm like, yes, she must know though. They must know.
She knows.
She can tell from the back of my head. She's like, this guy's staring. Sometimes she's like, look at those. Sometimes she'd be like, look at those big tits over there. I'm like, oh, where? What? Oh, wow, they snuck up on us, right? I never even noticed.
Yeah, if you point it out, that's the good move. Point it out to your chick, almost with some sort of disdain too.
Yeah.
So you go, this fucking chick. It's like there's kids out here. Tits are hanging
I
out.
said something like, Jesus,
Crazy.
this girl is scantily clad.
Yeah, it's 3 p.m. on a Wednesday.
What
Like,
the
why
hell?
is your fucking whole ass hanging out? It's like,
That's a small
get grip,
bikini.
lady.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun on a
Look at
Sunday.
this chick. I mean, she doesn't even. You can see the hair coming out of the top of that bathing suit. I mean, that's crazy. It's gross. Look at this. Let's put on goggles and go underwater and look at it.
I'm gonna go for a walk just to clear my head.
I gotta get away from this, man. This is just. I don't know. I'm gonna say something. If I don't leave right now, I'm gonna go over there and say something I'm gonna regret. So I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah. I wonder if you ever stop being a creep. Is there any part of your life when you just like stop being a creep?
Depends on the person, I guess. But I think a genuine, like, I'm not a creep in the say it and make somebody uncomfortable way.
Yeah, but
I'm definitely like my like the roof deck I have now in my place.
Oh, nice.
It just looks at a high rise building, and it's just like I go up there and smoke cigarettes at night, and you're just like it's all over the place. Split seconds of
titty.
No one really has done anything like overt in front of the windows yet.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of like home from work, get changed fully naked into like a t-shirt and sweatpants, and just like
incredible.
Great.
It's
I'm a creep in that way.
Yeah.
I don't make anyone. I don't say weird things to girls in the street. I don't I've never done anything like that.
You're just a peeping Tom.
Peeping Tom.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not on a branch. You know what I mean? I'm on a roof that I'm allowed to be on.
Sure, I bring binoculars with me.
I tell you what, every time I'm up there in my head, I go, man, if I had binoculars, I would be killing it right now.
Yeah, but if you get caught, if someone saw a guy with binoculars, it's just like, it's unforgivable.
It's unforgivable. And then it said once, like, I mean, the second your horny level is down, even you yourself will be like, what the fuck was I doing up there?
Yeah.
So that's when I go up there, I look and I go, man, if I had binoculars, I go, but this is what I get to see. That's fine.
You gotta
learn to take what you get.
You gotta pretend to have like some sort of a bird watching group or something.
Yeah, I'm doing nighttime bird watching.
Yeah. It's right into your window, right into 9A.
I think there's a blue-tailed whippoorwillow over there, right by that girl Snatch. But going up there, I see. So it's like, it depends on the kind of creep, because you see those videos of like nursing homes and stuff with like old men that are like, I mean, just laying it on those Jamaican nurses and just really like asking them if they'll suck their dick, give me a bath and jerk me up. And they're just like following them down the hallway. So no, I don't think you ever do stop being a creep if you were that kind of like, you know what I mean? Because there's old men who are like old, dirty dudes, and there's guys who are just not into that shit. I genuinely had friends growing up. One I can think of in particular, where it was just the guy that never traded porn videos or had porn videos or magazines.
That just wasn't
He just didn't get, and he wasn't nothing gay or anything. Like he
had
he has kids now. He's, I think, been married once. Always hooked up and everything, but it wasn't like a pussy crusher.
Yeah.
Where you're like, well, I don't have to really jerk off that much. I'm getting ass so much. He just didn't give a fuck about porn. So it's like, I don't think he's gonna be an old creep at all.
What happened? He probably just never saw titties young or something.
Just maybe wasn't perverted by it like so young either. Like the things you see now, it's hard to go. You know, this has been said 1,000 times, but like, 18-year-old girls like think you're supposed to come on their face and shit. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild.
Nice.
Nice.
We did it.
We did it.
America's great again.
Dude, me and my chick hooked up with a girl. It was a friend of Alex's. When Alex first started coming around from Gas Digital.
Okay, and sick.
She was in college, Alex, still, and so she had a friend that was younger than her, was 18.
Ooh.
But she was winging it at me and Christine. So and this is like years ago, but still, she was young. I was like, I may have been in my late, like 39 or something, but she was like 18.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. No, it wasn't a bad time. It was a fun time overall until the reality of like, this girl's in a fucking, she's 18, she's in a threesome, she's whatever. And I was, when I was fucking her, I went, where do you want me to come? And she goes, all over my face. And I said, while I was fucking her, I went, what happened to you?
You okay?
I was just like, it's just I'm like, this already feel like, as we're fucking, it's like, this is fun, but like, this is going to be a one and done thing. I'm like, because the thing, like, how low could you go on age? Like, and people go, like, well, over 18. But the thing is, over 18 is not enough of, especially my daughter's 19 now. So like to have a distinction on that. Like, I see how young that is. And even in that moment, like, we were fucking, but it was like, yeah, this girl's like young. This is like, we should probably keep it above, 24, 25.
Yeah, go for 24.
For things like this, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that'd be better. And then when she said that, I was just like, it's so jarring. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Come on my face. You're 18, you're in a threesome. I heard recently she had to go to rehab.
Yeah.
Which adds up.
Yeah, I had a feeling there was going to be some therapy involved at the end of.
I've tried to stop being a conversation for someone's therapy in my life, because I've definitely. Me and Lewis were talking about this on Skanks.
Then
he
put me on the spot. And he said, "Where do you want to come?" And I panicked and said, "On my face." And he did it. And then he asked me why I am the way I am.
So I'm in rehab. Lewis was saying this.
Yeah.
The other day on Skanks, and it was funny because we both had the same thing. Like that, if you like the worst I've hooked up with, and the best are complete opposite ends of the rainbow.
It's insane.
And it's insane that you want to do both. It's insane that both wanted you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
exactly.
And it's and that you've gone for, definitely like the best looking guys, awful looking women want them, but beautiful girls want them too. So they don't even factor in the awful looking people.
It's like
that are interested in them. But when you don't have that kind of confidence, the awful looking people, you're like, well, this is easy pickings.
Yeah.
Like this is zero work.
One of the great, nice things about life is that no matter how bad you are or ugly as a man or whatever, you can just pull it out of the bag sometime and you can just go home with
my
a 10.
Concern though is are they doing the same, like what? So I sit here, no fucking Adonis, saying like, my worst is just horrible and my best is unbelievable,
Yeah.
And then in someone else's thing, they're like, my worst is just like, I'm their gauge.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I don't.
I hooked up with a girl who was in Playboy before, and I wonder if she was like, but now here's the thing. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I feel like I try hard to make somebody who, as soon as you get that evil out of your body and you're just sitting there with someone who you're unattracted to, I'm trying desperately to make them not feel like shit.
Okay.
For the concession I feel that I've made.
Yeah.
And I haven't had anyone make me feel like shit for the concession. But that's where you go. It's like, so you have to live in like, well, maybe they actually really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm just the piece of shit for not enjoying that monster I fucked before.
Yeah, but you probably still enjoyed it though at the time, right? I guess. Or
I've been surprised. I've been surprised by like having fun in a situation where I was like, I'm not really into this chick, but like, wow, she was fun. I have had that. Surprising. No, but for the most part, most of them with the bad ones have been like, while it's happening, you're like, you start to notice, you go, I know already what my feeling is going to be about this view when I finish.
I've had this horrible realization of like when you're going over the Brooklyn Bridge in a taxi with a girl that you don't want to be going home with, and I'm sort of just looking out the window and the lights of the city are going by, and I'm just so sad, going, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why? Just leave. I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not going to be surprised by your naked body if I don't like this part. You know what I mean? But like, I wonder, is it the point of no return? But I did a thing one time. But talk about that snapback in reality. I liked this girl down in Philly, and I would do gigs. She worked at a radio station.
Yeah,
she was my friend, but I definitely, if there was a window, I would have hooked up with her in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. And she would always bring her friends to my shows because we hung out. We were friends. And one of her friends' name was, I don't want to say it, it was bad. It was Bernadette was her name. And she was a big girl.
Bernadette. Big Bernadette.
Big Burn.
Big Burn.
And they called her Burn, which is even like a big like nickname.
Yeah, trucker.
Burn.
That's a trucker. Yeah. Hey, Burn, haven't seen you around.
Yeah. What's your 20? What's your Victor Vector? She was, I wasn't attracted to her, and she liked me a lot. And I knew that. And so when I go down there, I'd be nice to her always. She was a sweet girl, but like never gave her any inkling of like I wanted to do anything.
Yeah.
I think she even knew that I liked her friend. And then I almost hooked up one night. Something happened where I thought it was happening, and then it didn't happen. And that girl left, and it was like 2 a.m. maybe. Burn and her friend and my friend, they left hours ago. I think at like 2-something in the morning, I reached out to that girl.
Big Burn?
Big Burn. And I was like, I really think I did like a, where'd you go? Because in my mind, I was like, dude, this is going to be just like, I got to get something out here and someone else should be doing it. I don't want to do it myself. Which I learned as I get older, like, of course, do it yourself and then really reassess.
Yeah.
You will be fine.
It's so funny. 4 hours later, hey, I just noticed you were, what?
Easy 3-4 hours later. And she's like, I'm home in bed. I was like, I thought we were gonna hang tonight. Just shitty of me to do, and I apologize, Bernadette. But she drives over to the hotel. I mean, I think comes to like South Jersey from Philly. Comes in right away, like when you see her, you're like, oh yeah, like I don't want to do this at all. Yeah. And then I feel terrible, so I'm like, how can I get my thing again? My fat guy shithead insecurity is like, well, I can't have her come all this way and not make her come. She has to come.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, how can I do this as simple as possible? So she started sucking my dick, but laying down.
Yeah.
And I just kind of reached down and was like playing with her pussy with my fingers. And I was like, and she was making like noises and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's the move. Like she'll blow me. I'll make her come. I'll probably have to fake like that something happened, and then I'll get her out of here. No harm, no foul. Lesson learned. And she's sucking my dick, and she starts making like a bunch of noises while I'm like fingering her, and I'm like, oh, this is good. And it starts getting like super wet sounding, like in her pussy, and I'm like, all right. I guess we're getting to the end of this. And then I pick my hand up. It is soaked in blood. She got her period. And then she jumps up and runs into the bathroom, humiliated, and like, yeah. I was playing the tube before. No, she went into the bathroom and was like crying and humiliated. Wow. Thank God it was one of the. I used to get rooms always with 2 beds in case I brought like a buddy with me or something on the road. So like, thank God there was 2 beds because I was able to like strip that. And while she's like, I'm sitting there like looking at my hand. She go, God, I'm so embarrassed, but you got to keep doing like that. No, come on, it's fucking totally cool. Who cares? It's not a big deal at all. I'm like squirting lighter fluid on the sheets and everything. It was so I had lesson learned on that. I don't think I've ever since that, and this is again 18 years ago, 17 years ago. I don't know like if I've ever again like made like a late night just mistake like that. That's why I said that 18-year-old girl was the last thing I could think of where I was like, we shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. I know it's legal, but like it's funky still.
It's legal, but we kind of side eye you.
It's legal, but it's like I said before, it's that like I don't want to feel like I'm contributing to someone. That's why I don't have a lot of like drunk girl stories where I'm worried about them being like, what did we do? And I'm like, oh, nothing. Like, if you were so hammered that you're like, what do we do? Like, we didn't fuck. That's for sure. Because, like, I'm not like, I need so many signals that it's okay. And it's nothing to do with me too. It's completely like, I don't want to get rejected at the lamest time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you say that last sentence where you're leaning for the kiss. You're like, yeah, I was looking at you all night. And you start coming in and they go, what? And you go, I don't know. I'm a fucking idiot. I didn't say that. I'm stupid. Like, why'd you cock your head to the side? Huh? No, that wasn't me. That was something different.
Nice. I've had probably more cases of me being blackout drunk, though.
Really?
I don't think, it's very rare that I'm not the drunkest person in any situation. So it's like,
even?
Yeah, even fucking the amount of times I've woken up and just been like beside someone in my bed. And it's like, you knew I did not consent to this. Like I used to have in Queens, there'd be girls who they'd know if they got me drunk enough, I'd just go home with them because I wouldn't even know my own name. But like, damn. And I wouldn't be sleeping with them if I'm like sober. But then suddenly they're sending me shots at the bar and stuff. I'm having a good time.
I knew a girl who prayed. I've seen the other side of that. Like a girl who used to work at a comedy club. She's a friend too, like she's a sweetheart and a good friend. But like, we'd said stuff to her a couple times. She would just get these crushes on guys who weren't into her. She's like a bigger girl. She was going for the guys that just weren't in. Yeah. There were guys that liked her, but she wasn't into them, you know? Mm-hmm. And then she was like a thing, like I heard like in her neighborhood that she had a couple guys where it was like, she was friends with my ex-wife. So it's like, I would hear the stories, of course, and it was like there's just a handful of guys that she knew if she got them drunk, like they will.
Yeah.
But then the next day she's going to be all upset when they're like, what the fuck did we do? Come on, stop this. You know what I mean? And I remember at a holiday party at one of the comedy clubs she worked at the time, she would like plan things where it was like, so-and-so is going to get hammered tonight, so I got a hotel room like right down the block. And you're like,
wow.
A guy would be
in jail.
Just not. I mean, definitely like judged hard. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is the night she gets obliterated enough to come home with me.
I'm not gonna get a fucked up, dude. I'm not a fucking raw dog.
Yeah, though the actual action is illegal for sure. But I'm saying, but even like the planning of like, I got a hotel room.
Yeah.
It's for this.
Yeah.
It's not like I got a hotel room so we can party late and I don't have to drive or like that. It's so I can like get somebody back there and be drunk enough to. They'll be like, yeah, I guess go for it.
These poor girls, man, because they're just.
But I would get it. As I said, with a drunk girl that was just kind of like. Yeah, sure. I'd be like, never mind.
I just can't imagine the confidence hit of being like, all right, she's going to sleep with me, but I got to get her fucking boozed up.
That's what I'm saying. I'd have a hard time getting a fucking hard dick if the girl was like, let me have a few. I've even heard that before in my life. Where it's like, yeah, no, I want to go back. Let's have a few more drinks. And I'm like, you're pretty like goofed. You know, and they're like, I'm fine. Let's have a few more. And you're like, yeah, I'm just going to split then because, like, where's this going anywhere good? Me and Christine, the SDR show, which you've done before, we interview porn stars a lot. Mm-hmm. And me and Christine probably had like 2 or 3 porn stars where we thought, like, oh, they're coming home with us. And they were even like, yeah, let's go back. But I'm an insecure idiot. So I would always, this is when, so we used to do SDR show on Mondays.
Yeah.
And it was like 8 to 9. So it was like afterwards, or maybe 9 to 10, Frantic would still be happening at the stand, like a showcase show where anyone kind of go and jump on. Mm-hmm. And if the girls wanted, they were like ready after the podcast, like, yeah, let's go back to your place. Whatever. I'd go, let's go. I'm going to swing over to this place they'd have to see me perform first because I'd want them to be like, oh, this is awesome now. Yeah. Not just like, yeah, I'm a porn star. You were on the show. Like, sure, I'll do it. Yeah. It was like, no. I want you to be like, hell yeah, I want to go fuck this guy and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then I would go, and I think the 3 or 4 times we did it, like, we came upstairs at one point with them after the show. Yeah. And we're like, hey, you ready to get out of here? And there's like, yeah, so funny. And here's like the thing where you're like, oh,
no,
we're going to put you in a cab. One of them had a snot bubble, like, hanging there.
Beautiful.
Just a big old something. She goes, are we leaving now? We're like, yeah, we're going to put you in a cab, sweetie. Like, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I can imagine. Especially a lot of the porn stars that do the SDR show, they're not good looking, but it's like they're not the upper echelon of like high end escorts.
We have a lot of genre.
Yeah,
a lot of genre porn stars come in.
The working man's porn star, you know? the blue collar porn stars. I would call them. Just I like good old fashioned American.
I like the genres: the heavy set, large titted,
the gap tooted,
yeah, exactly. The extreme people that'll get involved in pee and stuff like that.
It's like, hey, look, yeah, she's not the best looking, but she does porn. So
she's not the best looking, but she'll let all of us like judge her asshole.
Yeah,
that's pretty great in its own right.
That's I bumped into a girl in the street in Philly, and I've talked about this a few times. And I thought at first she was like looking for money because she kind of just came up and started me. She's just chick covered in tattoos, and then I was like, oh, and she's like, oh, I love your podcast, and then she just walked off, and I was like, oh wow. That was crazy. And then she like DMs me or something like, oh, sorry, I embarrassed myself. I go onto like her profile stuff. Just the filthiest girl of all time. Yeah. Just a real filth.
That's great.
She's just like a pure, as piggy as you can get. Like incredible stuff. Yeah.
Over the top. That's fun to hang with a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until eventually,
I don't know if you want to have like a sit-down steak dinner and let her really rip through what got her where she's at. You're fork and knife her down, your mouth's open. She's just taking her last bite, and she goes, "And that's the first time I was professionally shit on."
There's also so many times when you're just like, "Can we just have like missionary sex, or do I need to shit on your chest again? Do I need to?"
Oh yeah, the extreme. Yeah, we hooked up with one porn star I think ever. It was during quarantine. She came to my house for like the podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
She was a big girl. But me and Christine were so just like staring at each other for like, months and months and months.
Yeah,
this girl came
absolutely.
over, we're like, let's just do it. If she's down, let's do it. And we did it. And it was just like, it was right afterwards. We're like, what's wrong with it? It's funny seeing your girl have that thing too. She goes, yeah, well, neither of us were physically into that chick.
What's wrong with us?
What are we doing? The funniest thing of it was she was a big girl and like mostly gut, that girl. And like in the threesomes that me and Christine have ever had with girls, like the girls are generally like, she's has to want to do it. So it's like the girls usually pretty good looking, decent bodies and stuff like that. And like Christine getting on like top of the girl, like usually there's like a space. So she kind of comes up and like, you know, comes down on top of the girl's like body.
Yeah.
And she got up and I had to stop, like turn my head because I was laughing because just hearing like just like when she like came in hot, but like it's like finding ground too early. You know when you think there's a step and there's no step?
Yeah,
that's what she did. She came down with like
absolutely.
It was like coming up to be like, all right, let's make out now. And just like how high she was just jarring. Damn, that was funny. It's like a lily pad.
Like a mistimed skydive. Just
yeah, hit a rock.
Yeah, what? Not chaos, but it was like
jumped out of the thing and landed immediately on a mountaintop. Oh shit! I didn't see that.
That's nice. I hope you get in contact with some of these girls from across the buildings because we spent an hour nearly talking about this girl. I saw some chick flashing her tits on the train on the way home.
Wow!
I live in Astoria, so I get
great.
I get I get the N or the W, and just when you come around the thing, there's just a big apartment complex, and they have huge windows, fucking 10 by 10, and there was just some girl. I'm surprised I looked up from my phone, and me and some other Mexican guy was like, "What the?" She was standing there, right, and just had her tits out. She had her phone. She was showing the world. She wasn't like getting changed. She was doing something.
Just letting it happen.
She was like, I think she just wanted people to see.
It's giving positivity out there in the world. Yeah. I know nobody wants to see me naked through a window.
Yeah.
But I've given the opportunity a number of times to be like, but this should be given back to me.
Yeah.
So putting it out there in the world to go, it's like,
I'm sure there's kids on my block that talk about the horrible naked Irish guy. But I'm not doing it. I'm not like showing off the world. But I'm sure I don't give a fuck.
There was a guy on my block in the East Village when I lived down there, right across the street. We used to laugh. We'd call it like the noon show. And if we went outside to smoke a cigarette on our stoop, he was like the first floor or second floor, I guess, off the ground. His shower had like the window in the shower, and he would purposefully have that open and just scrub his dick. I mean, give it a good washing, a good old scrub on this thing, and he would work it over. And me and Christine would always just kind of laugh about it until one day I noticed that he's doing that still, and there's like schools letting out.
Oh.
And there's a school like on the block, and it's letting out, and it's kids walking by. They can see that. So I, not looking in my mind, confrontation or saying something is already at a fight. I'm like, if I ring this guy's doorbell, and even I know myself not to approach him. I'm like, hey, dude, I'll play it like he's not doing it on purpose, just to be like, hey, people are aware, and like, knock it off. I'm terrible at that, which is actually the right thing to do. I'm terrible at that because in my mind I'm already like, and then he's going to be like, why don't you mind your fucking business? And I'm going to be like, well, it is my fucking business, motherfucker. Yeah. And then we're in a thing. Probably not. That's what my worry is. There's a cop station on our block. Right in the middle of our block. Never helped me ever. And they're horrible. 9th Precinct, fuck them. I went in there and I was like, hey, just see you guys, like there's a guy like, it's just dicks like hanging out constantly in the window and there's like kids going by. So I go, maybe you guys go give him like a knock on the door and be like, hey, need you to keep that curtain closed.
Yeah.
Whatever like that. And they were just like shitty about it. They were like, what do you want me to bother him in his own house for this? I go, well, he's putting it out there to the street pretty much where kids can see for sure. And he's like, it's not a mistake.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a mistake, let's say. Just tell him he's making this mistake. And they're like, whatever. This was annoying because they didn't do anything. And
what do you want me to do? My job? You want me to protect the neighborhood, the society?
I'll tell you how bad that precinct is. That night, I guess there's somebody back there that said something about me coming in or recognized me. So there's a cop there. He got moved ultimately, but he was a fan. He actually listened to the shows and stuff and knew me from that. And he fucking, I thought he was going to hit me with his fucking undercover car when I got out of a Uber that night. And he pulled over. He's like, Big Jay, what's up, man? He goes, some guy's jerking off in the window. He goes, you want me to go fucking say something to him? And I was like, no. I was like, I don't, because like, why are you only doing it because I said? Because it's me. Like, you're a fan of mine, so you're gonna go say something to him. I go, why wouldn't you guys go say something? Because it's the right thing to do.
That's Big Jay Oakerson.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now we'll say something.
If he doesn't want that guy jerking off in front of kids, we make that happen, okay?
By gummit, none of us want that guy jerking off in front of kids.
That's great, man. I've got my I'm recording a crowd work album tonight.
Hell yes, tonight?
At the Stand, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Sold out, so excited, nervous.
Did sell out.
It did sell out eventually, yeah. So I'm
just doing one show?
One show, yeah. I would have ideally had 2 shows, but hey, tickets aren't as popular as I thought they would have been.
No, but one show's fun. My second one I did just one take.
Really?
Just get it.
Wow.
It's honestly like it keeps you on your toes more. It'll be fine. You'll be good. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We'll see. This is my first time ever doing like a long. I never even realized until this last few days I was thinking about it. It's like if I do a 15, 20-minute set and I do a lot of crowd work, there's also a chance that if I start some crowd work and it's bad, I'll just go do the material.
Sure.
Whereas now it's just like, all right. Okay.
No, it's especially if they come in for it, they know what this is. Like, they'll be ready for that. Like, it's very different. Like, we had times where we're like, we did a crowd work show at like the VU, Village Underground.
Yeah.
When it was like, they just sold it as like one of the shows happening down there.
Oh, yeah.
Set list happened like that too, and we did that at the VU. It was like the crowd would come in for like, oh, we thought we were coming to see like, a Godfrey, Colin Quinn, and whatever thing, and now we're getting this concept thing that like we're part of it too,
Yeah.
They know, but when they know, they're so into it.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, you'll see the people who want to be like, seeing people come particularly odd looking and shit, and like it'll be fun. You're gonna have a great time.
Do you have any particular advice?
Just keep talking. No, honestly, God, the advice on it is like, just know, like, you're funny. Like, you don't have to like you don't have to prove that to them. You just are. So just be confident that that is all it really is. Like, when I start, I go like, whatever this goes to, like, I'll find something. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just and if you get hung up, but just keep asking questions.
Yeah, sure.
And the more bizarre the questions are, like, the more they fucking. I used to use that example when I get on stage at the end of a showcase or something and be like, I go, "Are you guys married?" Right, but the most basic of questions, and the crowd goes, "Ugh," and I'm like, "What? Did you already? Do you already know that?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're married," and I'll be like, "Oh," it goes, "Have you guys ever butt fucked in a pool?" And then the crowd will you'll be like, "Did anybody ask that?" Like, why don't you give me a fucking chance, like, to do my thing? You know what I mean? Like, there's just that's why I used to tell people on the crowd work show that were like, didn't want to go last, is that like, I'm like, you should want to go. Like, going last is almost a benefit to crowd work because you've gotten so many setups.
Yeah.
And now it's like you start connecting like the dots on them, which again, you'll just see. If honestly, the advice is just like stay calm, and just like, as dumb as that sports term sounds like, just stay in the pocket. Just like be like present with each person, and like just work the whole room.
Yeah.
Try to get to. It's hard, I know, because there's no. Which room are you doing? Downstairs?
No, upstairs. Upstairs.
You're doing the upstairs room,
yeah.
So you can see everybody.
Well, that's why I kind of was hoping it'd be easier for the sound and shit.
And make sure you repeat their answers.
Yeah.
Even if they kind of hear it, that's a hard thing to stay on top of. So when you're like, "What's about?" And the answer, you got to say the answer too. Yeah. For them.
Yeah, it should be good. And
it's going to be a blast.
Worst case scenario, I can always just do another one at Skankfest.
Yeah, but it's fans.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It'll be fine. My favorite one of them was the one I only did one take.
Really, that was
so far at the VU. Yeah, because it was just like.
That was your first one.
It was also took the stress off. My second one.
Oh, your second one.
It took the stress off. Also, like, one's got, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, we're only doing the show. There's not another show coming up where I need to save my energy for. So you could put it all out there in the one thing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like save your energy at all. Like, you could really just like sit back and have fun. That was the most fun one to me.
Have you always been sort of a crowd work guy? Or were you?
No, I had so much long stories.
Yeah.
I started doing, I was just doing jokes like every comic when I started out. Just like anybody, just write a subject, and try to make a joke about it. But, and then I started doing these storytelling shows, not Ari's even, like DC Benny and Ben Bailey, these guys in New York used to, Zinc Bar it was called. They had this thing called Urban Myth. And it was just these storytelling shows. And they would always give me like you don't have to even be funny. Like, it's just tell a story. But I'm like, if I'm going to tell a story, I'm going to have to tell a funny I've never felt the urge to go up and tell something dramatic. So I'm like, it'll be a funny story, but there's no pressure to be funny. So if I don't have punchlines for anything, great. But it's a funny story. And I really enjoyed doing that. And then I started taking those stories and doing them on stage. And then I got kind of like known just through the comics. I mean, no one knew who I was, but like just doing stories. My first album is called An American Storyteller. It's these long bits, which I still have long bits. My bits are very long, but what I would do when I was working the club, I couldn't headline on the road for shit. I just wasn't getting work.
Yeah.
I'd open for a tell on the road for like a decade, and I'd headline 4, maybe 5 things a year on the road myself, and I was in the clubs in New York all the time. That's how I made money, was to do like 8 spots a night on weekends. I was running like a maniac to do all that. And when I started seeing the staff with those comics, not to be named, but people who don't change their set ever.
Yeah, and they're repeating it.
And I'm specifically watching a person like roll their eyes and mouth the words.
Yeah.
To it, I was like, well, I don't want that. And I go, and with me, they're hearing these, 2 or 3 of like the long stories I have every set that they've heard before, and they know the timing of and the rhythm and all this shit. And I was like, I don't want that. I liked that when Attell or Patrice were on stage, Geraldo, the staff would try to stop working and watch, and comics wanted to come and watch because it was going to be something unique and different. So then for them, I was always at the end of the show, so I'd start talking to Artie Fuqua, who would host always at the Cellar, and just be like, Artie, these people have heard like enough jokes. Like, what's going on? You talk to everybody in the crowd. Like, what's... Yeah. And he was just like, this couple's from Australia, and these 2 are on a date, but I don't think it's going well. And we would just play with all of that. And I just got comfortable doing it, like just trusting him out. Patrice O'Neill, another day, told me like,
I'd love to talk
about a long time ago. One of this advice that stuck with me was that he's like, go on stage with the same confidence. It's almost what I was trying to say to you, of like, when you're with your friends, you've never overthought being hilarious. You just were. It wasn't like, oh, these guys are coming over now. You start going, like, what's Steve wearing? Because I'm gonna make fun of that. It's like when he came in, if whatever he was wearing, if it was funny enough, you just made fun of it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, go on stage with that same comment. Don't think about like, it's like, am I good enough to do this? You just go up there. It's like, yeah, I just am the funny guy. Like, I'll figure it out. That's what I was almost trying to say. Like, you'll just kind of figure it out. And then his other advice was, don't be afraid to say something on stage that might not be funny. And I don't know if it's good advice anymore. Now they'll ruin you if you say something that might not be funny. So that was good advice at one point. It's like, yeah, give it a whirl. Now you're like, can you just give it a whirl?
Yeah.
I saw an NPR article today about, I didn't even see Chappelle's new thing yet. And it's funny in my mind because I was almost like, it's so like, I don't know, this thing's gotten a little pretentious for me.
Yeah.
And I still think he's the greatest of all time, but like, I just don't
There's
like,
I don't
like where it's been.
Yeah.
And I read some NPR article today that was like, he really has gone too far in this new special. One, it made me want to watch it, and the jokes they cite in it, I was like, that's really funny. He said, one of them said, he goes, did you watch it?
No, I haven't seen it.
One of them said, the baby. The baby is the one that got in trouble, right? He goes, the baby punched the LGBT community right in the AIDS. That was that's such a funny line. I'm like, that's great. That sounds funny as shit to me.
And you know what's funny about Chappelle too is there's a part of everyone loves him because he's been so good, but then there's a part that everyone will always love him, even all the left guys will always kind of love him, but then he just keeps going after like the trans and the LGBT, like every special he brings, and it's even last 2 specials you're almost like, all right, we get it. The fact that he did it again, I'm like, that's so funny.
Oh yeah, he's like,
he did it again. It's like it's
well, he does have to answer to nobody.
Yeah,
he's got. I mean, what I can only assume, in the closest reality of the term, is bottomless money.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll never not make money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like even like Louis C.K., who the shit he's had to go through. Like, I think if he needed $150,000 tomorrow, he could rustle that up. Like, at a show, I'm saying you could throw together. You could go like, I'm going to do the Garden. Or something, you know what I mean? And it will sell. People are going. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
So it's like Chappelle has that forever. He said he's going to Ghana now for a while, and he's like, I got to disappear for a while, which I think is one true. And I heard something he said there at the stand the other night. Somebody told me, he said, he's like, I'm going to Ghana for a while. He goes, yeah. He goes, man, he goes, over here in America, he goes, I'm really famous. He goes, in Africa, I could be a dictator. It's fucking hilarious.
Chappelle's one of the best. When did you meet Patrice? Patrice was a big, I guess,
influence for sure.
Role
like
model,
mentor.
maybe? Mentor is the word I'm looking for, yeah.
Yeah, he, I met, so me and Kevin Hart and Metzger started in Philly. Keith Robinson is the comic who pulled us out of there pretty much. He saw
What a
us
nice
there.
little trio, by the way, because a lot of the time you hear people, they go, oh, it was me and Pat Birch.
It was Kevin Hart, yeah. And then right behind us was like DeRosa and Vecchione and people like that. But like Keith kind of pulled us out of and was like, let me show you guys around New York. Like, you'll be my guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to bring, we all drive to New York from Philly together every night. And Keith would host the Cellar. It was like from like 7 p.m. till like 3 a.m. or something.
They used to just do one long show.
Just nonstop, keep running, yeah. Maybe 2 shows. Then they started doing 7 and 9, but the 9 also ran till like 3 a.m. or something.
When did that die out in New York?
I think with the die out of like that table, like that hang.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but the show, when they just...
Bobby Kelly started getting like, his shit going. Everybody didn't think it's the young comics are supposed to push the old guys out. Yeah. But the young guys didn't have a camaraderie like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There just wasn't. Like, I was talking to Ari about this more. I'm like, with young comics, like, is it more broken now than ever? Or is it more like bonded now than ever? But I'm like, it's like really fractured, I think. It's all over the place.
There's just too many.
In fact, there's comics who just like viscerally like want to stop another kind of comedy. I've never seen that. It was always like the club comics were always like, fuck the alt scene. It's fucking cornballs doing cornball shit. And then you see some of those guys, you're like, they're really funny. You know what I mean? But it was never also like, fuck that guy. It was like, fuck alt comedy. You know what I mean? It was like, fuck the idea. I don't do that, and it's stupid. But never like now it's like a personal, like, you need to be stopped with what you're doing. Like, why? It's just not what you do.
Well, they're normally unfunny, right? I can't.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just once a comic starts doing that, you can't back them really across the board, right? No. Even if they're like, I don't like that, you should have got to go.
Well, yeah, it's like
that's where the fun
is. The Tony Hinchcliffe thing.
Tony Hinchcliffe is a perfect example.
Where it's just like, hey, fuckface, go talk to Tony Hinchcliffe, the guy who it turns out has brought you on the road before. Like, hey, man, I didn't like the, I use this example a lot too, because but being like a human being, still being who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to give up who you are to be a human being. Marina Franklin, I've known Marina again for 20 some years. So Marina, some years ago, like I would always see her, like she had some shirt where her boobs were hanging out, and I was like, Marina's got them titties. And she would like dance, like she would like dance when I sang. It was like a funny thing we would do when we would like see each other. It was like, and it'd make people laugh around us, and it was funny. And I brought her up on stage a couple times when I was hosting the Cellar years ago. Goes up there and I go, everybody, blah 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 from this and that. Marina Franklin, and while she was coming to the stage, I'd be like, Marina's got them, just like playfully.
Yeah.
And she got on stage, but I laughed about it once. And the second time I did it, maybe weeks later, she came off stage to me one time, and she goes, Jay, I don't like when you do the song. When I come on the stage, she goes, I think it makes people look right away, and they're not listening to my first few words, and just like puts like a weird like track for me. I went, done. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's a fair fucking thing. It's like, you think you didn't write an article about like the misogyny, because then you have to go around explaining. He goes, me and Marina would do this thing.
And once you start that,
it's like, no, you don't understand. We would do that, and then they're like, you're gonna mansplain it to me. Now. You're like,
yeah.
So it's like, she came to me. We've never had a problem ever about something like that since. She was like, yeah, I don't like that. I go, okay, no worries.
I always felt like that with the Louis article when he just came out and says that all of this is true. I'm going to step away for a while. I always had a feeling there was like one of them wasn't, but it's just he couldn't reply. Listen, 3 of the 4 accusations are real, but one of them is lying. So he had to just sort of go, all of this is true.
Well, nobody wants an explanation. They just want to believe in an accusation and like walk away from that. Where you can go,
But nowadays,
how about maybe this isn't, or there is an explanation to this.
Yeah,
he did. He gave them. They go, you're gonna explain it away now. He goes, well, there's got to be an explanation, right? Like, if I didn't hold somebody down and like rape them, like there's got to be a reason I thought this was like going good, correct?
Yeah.
Like, but they don't want to hear it.
Okay, that's the end of the free portion of this show. If you want to catch the rest of it, head over to the Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell. Thank you.